Welcome everyone to the NVIDIA Omniverse live stream. Very happy to have you with us. Actually, I want to bring in my friends from NVIDIA here. Here's Ashley and Jen. And we have another special guest coming. But Ashley and Jen, thank you for coming. For everybody tuning in, we are going to deliver a really nice overview of our Learn OpenUSD curriculum that we just recently kind of rolled out earlier this week, and we're very excited to dive in. We had Jen earlier on another live stream, kind of went over, gave a little preview of some of the stuff. So we're gonna kind of do a deeper dive, and then we have a very special guest, Nandu Valal from the community, who is going to discuss the OpenUSD study group, which takes place weekly, and he's been hosting for quite some time. We'll get into all of that in a few minutes, but first, I want to go over these couple quick announcements with my colleagues here. First, Ashley and Jen, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit and tell everybody what you do here in NVIDIA?
Sure. I'm Ashley. I'm a tech marketing engineer for Omniverse. And basically, I help to deliver the tech marketing assets, content, documentation, workflow guides that help developers ingest and enable their workflows with Omniverse and OpenUSD.
You do a lot, and Ashley's also super helpful people in the community, diving in Discord, and has been helping me kind of rework some of the channels. We just redid our Discord layout a little bit, so if you haven't got a chance to get in there, please do discord.gg/NVIDIA Omniverse. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we're also joined by Jen Baruki. Jen, how are you doing?
I need more coffee.
I kind of knew you were going to say that. So Jen, I'm so glad to have Jen here with us. So Jen has been really integral to this curriculum, and she's going to dive into it in a few minutes. But first, we're going to hear a little bit more about what Jen does here, like in your day-to-day role at NVIDIA. Why don't you share that with everybody, Jen?
Oh man, my day-to-day role is probably kind of going through and becoming an OpenUSD Jedi at this point, or a wizard, or I don't know what you would anything. I just trying to be a professional here. Not trying to take over Maddie's job though.
Or maybe.
Or maybe, I don't know.
You hear that, Maddie? We're coming for you.
But yeah, I'm very much absorbed in a lot of things related to OpenUSD. It has been something that has been on my mind since I've joined NVIDIA, and trying to really actually, find a way that's best for everybody to consume it, because, there's people that start out and they're like, where do I start? Right. And it can be tough. So I wanted to give a helping hand. So yeah, my day to day is basically USD everything.
That's awesome. And so that's what we're going to be diving in on today's live stream. So if anyone joining us just now, we're going to be covering the OpenUSD curriculum. So it's basically a training course designed to accelerate 3D workflows for developers. We're going to cover concepts, key terminology, and Python best practices. And like I said earlier, we have a special guest, Nandu Valal, here, who's going to go into the OpenUSD study group we have every week on Discord. And big welcome to everyone joining us from LinkedIn today, and a huge thank you to Greer and Mara, who helped us broadcast to the official NVIDIA Omniverse LinkedIn page today. So hello to everyone out there watching us LinkedIn. Great to have you join us. Feel free to post your questions in the chat. We will be posting some links throughout the live stream, and we'll be answering some questions along the way. Okay, but first let's get into a couple of quick news announcements. Actually, so NIM is super cute little acronym there. What does it mean? I think it stands for NVIDIA Inference Microservices, and inference part. Why can't I say that? The inference part basically is generative AI. Is that correct, Jen, Ashley?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, how would you describe an agent blueprint for this, what this NIM is?
Quick sentence. It is an API that's downloadable.
Awesome. And so we've been releasing these initial NIMs over the past few weeks, and very happy to have people digging in, getting a lot of great feedback, a lot of excitement over it. Really expands the accessibility of these services for developers and their applications in a much simpler way, a much more direct way. So you can kind of do calls directly from your own applications. So super exciting. We'll post a link for that in the chat. And then again, like I just mentioned, we've been announcing several new NIMs. And if you have any questions on them, we actually have a NIM channel on the Discord server that I promoted a little earlier. We also have a great Omniverse forums for official support. But if you want to chat with the community, definitely hop on the Discord server. We'll post a link for that in the chat as well. All of our OpenUSD sessions from SIGGRAPH are now available to watch on demand. All you have to do is, I think, have a developer account, totally free, and you can watch them at your own pace. Lots of great content. Some of them are worth watching 2 or 3 times, I would say. And Ashley and Jen, you were both very involved with our OpenUSD sessions at SIGGRAPH, so you must be excited to have everyone be able to experience it who couldn't make it there.
Yeah, they even posted a blog about one of the about the panel that I moderated. We did a jobs panel on OpenUSD, and so they wrote a tech blog, or not a tech blog, a Medium blog on how to pivot your career with OpenUSD, highlighting the experiences that Lana, Bobby, Ken, and Hunter shared. So I'll link that in the chat. I think that'll be great for people to read who are interested in how OpenUSD can enable new opportunities in innovative industries.
So many opportunities, and that panel was fantastic, expertly moderated, I will add. But the panel you had, personality, was just so stellar. So great that there's a tech blog revolving around that. This is another great reason to go to these events like SIGGRAPH and GTC. Okay, so those sessions are available on demand, and then we also released our latest All Stars ebook, completely focused around OpenUSD projects and workflows. Really nice gamut here of people and industries. I highly recommend. People who watched this live stream before recognize at least a couple of those faces there. Really excited to share those stories and help inspire others through people's work with OpenUSD. And of course, what we're talking about today relates to this. OpenUSD training course is now available through the NVIDIA Deep Learning Institute, which is otherwise known as DLI. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes as well. But DLI is a fantastic resource for learning lots of different technologies from NVIDIA. I highly recommend you go to the DLI website and peruse their offerings there at your convenience, and then feel free to chat about those things on the Discord server with other people. Okay, great. I think that's it for our news and announcements. So now I want to bring in a very, very special guest that I mentioned earlier. Nandu Valal, there he is, warped in using the latest technology. How you doing, Nandu?
Good, Edmar. Thank you so much to see Ashley and Jen as well.
Well, you're like an extension of the team now. This is you're a veteran live stream guest. So thank you for joining us. And really, regarding OpenUSD, so for people who are joining us, who maybe you came across this live stream maybe by accident, or hey, that looks interesting, and you never kind of heard about OpenUSD before. We're going to post a great video link from Ace Rolla, who Ashley and Jen and I got to meet actually at SIGGRAPH. Super cool developer and artist, technical artist. He has a fantastic channel. He did a really stellar video on OpenUSD, kind of priming everybody who maybe have not heard about it. So that's a great video to watch if you've never heard about it. But in a sentence or two, how would any one of our panelists here like to describe what OpenUSD is? I will take the first person who smiles, Ashley.
No, Nandu should go. He's the one that does the thing on Wednesday,
Sure.
not me.
Yeah. So essentially, OpenUSD is technology using which you build the 3D worlds which you can interact with, and where things are heading towards is like it's kind of like coming closer and closer to physical reality, but it's to mimic the physical world. So how we can visualize the real world in 3D, and you can interact with it and experience it in a immersive way. So
that's amazing. Very good explanation. And today we're going to be going over this Learn OpenUSD learning journey for basically for developers to get familiar with what OpenUSD, including the fundamentals and terminology and Python. So we're going to go over all that stuff. I think we have a really nice. So, like I said earlier, Jen's joining us, as she's been intimately involved in these materials. And I think Ashley, you were too, right?
I was cheering from the sidelines and testing it as it went along. So
that's super important.
Say yes.
Yes. All right. That's super important. All right. And as we move along through, we would love to have people to ask your questions and comments. Let us know where you're watching from in the chat. Always great to see where people are coming from. But this is a great episode for people who are just learning about OpenUSD and to find out about one of the greatest resources, which was just released. We'll put the link for that in a second. But also people who are veteran OpenUSD developers. This learning journey actually goes pretty deep. And the first kind of courses or modules are considered like level 100s. And that's kind of what was released earlier this week. But there's more coming, level 200s, dare I say 300s and 400s and more probably. But there's going to go very deep into developers' kind of workflows with OpenUSD. So we'll get into all that now. And with that, Jen, I think we have a little video, I think, that you maybe wanted to kick this off with.
If we want to start it off with some scissor reels that we got, why not? I don't have it up though.
I have it. It's okay.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to watch this little quick video to get people excited about what's possible. And so here's the little sizzle reel montage, as you call it, and we'll be back in about 2 minutes. So get ready to dive into OpenUSD and keep posting your questions. We'll get to them in just a few minutes. All right, if that video didn't get you pumped up for OpenUSD, I don't know what. Well, that's amazing. I got goosebumps watching that. That's fantastic. So yeah, it shows you what's possible with all the interoperability that OpenUSD provides to users in their workflow. So okay, so Jen, let's dive into it, shall we?
Yeah, no, I can't stop giggling at the end of that reel because of the robot that just tips over at the end. It's like, we're gonna end it right there. So sorry, that was like on the top of my brain right now. But yeah, no, let's definitely get into it. I know we did give Nandu gave a good definition of OpenUSD, so I'm kind of just gonna give it a little bit more of a formal one, which is essentially, universal scene description, or OpenUSD, is more than just a file format. It is a open and extensible ecosystem for describing composition or composing, simulating, and collaborating within 3D worlds. It was invented by Pixar Animation Studio, and OpenUSD encompasses, a collection of fundamental tools and capabilities that accelerate workflows, teams, and projects. Whether you're creating assets, environments for large scale, AI-enabled virtual worlds, or building the tools to make these worlds possible. So that is kind of what OpenUSD is. And, we get a lot of like, well, why OpenUSD? Why should I be, dropping all of the stuff that I already learned previously as like a 3D developer or animation or artist or a 3D surface artist. And it's not that we're saying give up all the stuff that you've learned previously. We're saying add OpenUSD as something to your workflows, because it's something that can help enable not only your work but also other people's work. So if you're a Maya artist and you want to collaborate more easily with somebody who's working in like Substance, you could do that using OpenUSD. And it might not seem apparent today, but we're hoping that as more and more of Learn OpenUSD starts to evolve, because this isn't the end. We're still going. We're still making more and more courses. The more enlightened you'll be about, oh wow, this is super powerful. And so kind of, rolling into that, what is it really used for? Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, we saw in that scissor reel, we saw stuff from like BMW, we saw stuff from Hyundai with, that big, large ship. And that's actually all those parts from that ship. If you're like, well, how did you optimize that? Nope, no optimization. Straight up CAD data imported in there, the entire BMW factory as well.
Isn't it like 75 million triangles?
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I would not put that on any mobile headset, just straight up, because of how much information's there. It's just, whoa, and if you think about it for a little bit, you're like, whoa, so you're telling me I can do all this stuff using all the things I already have? Absolutely. Again, you don't have to give up your own tools for any of this stuff. And if you think about it too, there's also, a lot of stuff going on with AI simulations and robotics. And I know, Nandu, I think your use case is amazing. I don't know if you want to give like a quick little, summary of how you're using OpenUSD for your use case.
Yeah, exactly. So, so what I see is currently like a lot of OpenUSD being used in manufacturing. I'm more interested in on the engineering and the application side towards more like for example, whether it's manufacturing, logistics, architecture. So I kind of like more interested in those areas. The reason being, I work with industrial inspections, so it's something new that we nobody has thought about, and that's what we are bringing to the table. So how can I bring in OpenUSD more in terms of like how can we visualize data that exists in inspections in a new way? So that's something I'll show towards the end. So but what is exciting is like in our study group, we have Stephanie, who is on the who is watching this webinar. So she comes from the entertainment side. So we have people coming from all the various sides, and to me, like hey, how can I borrow that particular application or knowledge from somewhere else and use it in my specific inspection side of things? So
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, we'll definitely get more into the study group for that. But I do want a huge shout out to AOUSD. If you don't know what that is, that's the Alliance of OpenUSD. That is basically standardizing the 3D ecosystem to kind of help enable developers and content creators to describe, compose, and simulate large scale 3D projects. And so it's a bunch of people who have joined AOUSD to kind of send out that messaging and collaborate as well. So without kind of like a little further ado, let me just kind of dive into the content. I know I've talked a little bit way too much about what OpenUSD is, and I know everybody's like super like, oh, I want to get my hands on it right now. Yeah, absolutely. So let me kind of just talk a little bit about what we have out publicly currently. So if anybody wants, we do have a link that will be posted for this learning path. So this learning path page will basically give you access and opportunities to see, all the different courses we are offering. Currently, right now, we have a lot of the 100 levels that are currently out. And so if you were to kind of, scroll down through that page, you'll be able to find all these different courses here. My recommendation to everybody is to kind of go through each course one by one. So you would do course 1 first, then course 2, and course 3. Each one of these is all self-paced, so you can do them at any time, anywhere. You don't need to have anything downloaded. All you need to do is sign up with DLI and enroll into the course itself. So from there, we are also going to be releasing, coming up, some applied concepts. So you get to actually take a look to see what is to come. These are not 100% out quite yet, but they are coming soon. The soonest one that will probably be coming out is developing data exchange pipelines. So that is going to be covering a lot of stuff on how can I convert my data and translate that into OpenUSD. So if you're wondering, well, how do I take an FBX or an object file and how do I translate that so it turns into OpenUSD, and I want to be able to manipulate certain parameters, and I want to have certain things get passed over, would be the course for you. So just hang tight. I know you're probably really itching for it, but just please wait. We are still polishing some things here and there.
They got 6 courses to occupy themselves.
Yep.
Until the level 200 content comes out.
Yeah. And the fun part is that we only we showcased a little bit of this at SIGGRAPH, but there is 2 that nobody has ever seen yet. That it's in the works, it's in the background. But just so people understand the difference between foundationals and our applied concepts. So our foundationals are going to essentially be your introduction to a lot of essential concepts. And this is both for people who are veteran as well as new beginners. You might have an idea of like, oh, I've used OpenUSD before, but I'm not too familiar with how to use variance sets, or I don't know really how to use the stage, or how do I define attributes on my prims. This is a perfect course for you. It can even be used as like a refresher even. But they're all very curated for a lot of like, introduction type styles. Now, if I had to talk a little bit about your applied concepts, which will be, again, they'll be coming out. They're not quite there yet, but it will be soon, promise. So your applied concepts is going to be taking all those foundations that you have learned previously and apply them to more higher level concepts, such as composition arcs. So we're talking more about liver Ps. How can you, debug your liver Ps and see, okay, what's going on with my scene? Like, why is certain things not showing up versus other ones? What, different principles about asset structuring within USD. Then you also have, again, those developing data pipelines. Now that you're familiar with, some of those things, like attributes and all these vocabulary words in terms of how prims are created and what makes them up, you can start now applying a lot of this stuff to there. So if you were to click on any one of the 100 courses, again, they are all free, 100% free. Don't worry about paying for anything. But you could take a look and see some of the different learning objectives and topics that will be covered, as well as seeing, what kind of things to expect within the course itself. So I kind of already preloaded everything up for the courses. But if you were to go, you might see an enroll now button up here where you can then enroll into the course. Once you have enrolled into the course, you're able to actually dive into each one. So on the side, we kind of have like our little hierarchy of everything that there is. And a lot of the stuff that you'll see in here is we'll kind of like lay out an overview section. And this is kind of just to give you a highlight of what each one of these modules will be in the 100s. And then we dive into the more fun stuff where each section will have some type of lecture followed by an amazing video to basically demonstrate some of these concepts in a more kind of abstract, evergreen way. These videos all have speaking in them. I'm not going to have volume playing because I don't like it when people talk over me. So I don't want the video to be a little bit rude in this case. But there's videos that accompany them. So if you're more of a visual learner, you can. We also have it all laid out in text format as well. You are more than welcome to use both up to your learning preferences. And so you can skip around just to see certain things and, oh, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? And then after a bit, you'll run into things where we have certain activities set up for you. And here you can go ahead and you can actually open up the Jupyter Notebook. And again, I already have a lot of this loaded, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of shift over to this. So in the previous live stream that I had, that Edmar was allowed me to take over for a bit, is I showed this previously where we have this Jupyter Notebook that's essentially creating and running all of USD. So it's very super lightweight. And so you can actually run all of these different cells. And so again, accompanying with the course, they'll tell you which activity you should be doing for each one. So in this case, we are running activity 1, where you're able to then kind of see some vanilla USD code here, where you can actually come in, you can copy these, you can paste them in cells, and then you can also run them as well. So I'm kind of going to just skip just a little bit ahead. I know I'm going out of order. I promise I'm not that bad of a student. Just so you guys can understand and see that when you're running this Python code, you're actually also able to visualize what that OpenUSD file looks like, as well as the human readable USDA version of it. And you can interact with it, so you can drag it around using your left mouse button. You can also pan it using the right mouse button, but you can't necessarily zoom in and out. We wanted to disable that feature just because of the scrolling. But yeah, you can interact, you can sit, you can run your code as much as you want, see the changes that are happening,
That's awesome.
all without having to download anything. This is
Great.
all contained within the Jupyter.
It's wild.
It
Very
is.
cool.
It is pretty wild.
And you don't need to have a RTX GPU to do this. You literally can do this from your Mac.
Yeah, you can do it from your Mac. You could do it from your Linux. You could do Windows. If you want to run it on a POS, feel free. I mean, that'd be kind of weird, but
Has anyone tried to do it on their phone yet? No. Can you can't do Jupyter Lab on your phone? Wait, can you? I haven't done it.
Well, it opens up a web page, so I would imagine you could. Somebody
All right,
test that out for
it.
me.
Yeah.
Do it on your phone. I want to see.
Maybe on a tablet.
Yes, you can. You definitely can do it
Oh,
on
yeah.
the tablet.
Yeah.
That's 100%.
Great.
Coding on a tablet.
That's great questions and comments coming in too, and we'll get to some of those after this presentation here. But yeah, we'll circle back to them. So keep them coming.
Okay.
So,
I mean, if we want, I could open up to questions now.
Okay,
so
yeah,
Jen, I wanted to add one thing here.
Sure.
Sorry, Edmar. Yeah. So, so this is a self-contained learning environment where one could log in and then go through a series of short exercises, learn about the topic, and then run their kind of like a mini lab, if you were to say, and then get a hands-on kind of like flavor in terms of like, okay, so what exactly does it entail for me to learn OpenUSD, and then how I can, and definitely all of this is using Python, right? So having some basic Python knowledge is good, but I think you can still probably use the level 100 ones if you're have any other programming language experience. So or if you're still learning Python, so you can still just copy and paste the code, interact with the 3D object, get to see some of the OpenUSD that it generates, right? So, and then you can make changes to the code and see how the how it's going to behave, right? So that's the this is really nice, because to give you some idea of like what we were thinking as part of our study group was like help folks to install USD View and the interpreter, and then try that out, right? So this is I'm not saying USD View is definitely way powerful. So, but still, this gives us, without having to struggle with for folks who are not programmers or developers, this gives them a platform where they could try it out and then get a feel for, and then get comfortable with it. So
Very cool. I saw some people asking about posting the link for the training course we're talking about. So we'll post that again. We posted a little earlier, but we'll keep posting in case there are new viewers coming in. I also put it on screen really quick. I know it's a long URL, but maybe you screenshot that and you can type it out a little later. But yeah, you should be able to see them. We're putting in the chats. I don't know if we have the ability to post in the LinkedIn chat. StreamYard does not let us post directly to LinkedIn chat. So we'll see if we can do that manually in a second. But yeah, I think this is a link right here again, and we'll put it in the YouTube chat directly in a second. So it'll be clickable for those watching on YouTube. Great.
I think if you Google it, it's like the first hit on Google. If you type in like Learn OpenUSD.
Yeah, Learn OpenUSD, correct. That's great advice. Okay, cool. And we see a question. So Jen, we have a couple questions here. Well, here. Any tips again, the Omniverse dev? So I'll tell you, the best tip for getting the Omniverse dev team is to do amazing work, do amazing development work. Put it publicly, share it, inspire others, teach others. That's just a fantastic way to get visibility.
That's a good advice for getting a job anywhere. Just put yourself out there, make yourself knowable, put your projects on display, like not just for getting on the Omniverse dev team, but for like any job.
That's great. Totally agree. And then Austin followed it up with this: is there a public roadmap? So I think, are you referring to a roadmap for OpenUSD, which is an evolving discussion that happens with members of the Alliance of OpenUSD, which now include Microsoft and Apple, as Jen mentioned earlier? Or are you referring to the courses? Is there a roadmap for the courses? And Jen, if he's referring to the courses, we typically announce things pretty much as soon as they're available, right?
That's the roadmap.
The courses are on the learning path, right?
Yeah,
it just says not, right?
Yeah, so this is going to be your roadmap.
Wait, which way am I pointing? That way?
Yeah.
There you go.
Right, so if you're wondering what's coming soon in terms of Learn OpenUSD, you can always find it on the learning page. We try to update this as soon as we can. There are things that we can't necessarily do, but this is your public information.
Okay, cool.
He said Omniverse create.
So Omniverse,
I haven't heard that in a long
I know
time.
that's a very old reference to one of our kind of foundational kind of tools, or
bringing it back.
Yeah, which is now called USD Composer. But that's basically just a sample tool that the Omniverse team released to show people what's possible if you leverage the technology. It is it's not a really commercial app meant for consumers to use. It's really for developers to kind of learn from and dig in, take it apart, remake it into your own thing.
Why does that feel like it was so far away? Like,
I know,
hearing
right?
Omniverse create and feels like it was like a billion years ago, and that I've had a whole lifetime since then. But it's really just like last year.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, but I would say if you want to always find out about the latest, we're at SIGGRAPH and GTC specifically, we really have a lot of announcements and a lot of news there, a lot of sessions going over what's coming, what we're doing, what's now available. So I would just do a search for any of those. And obviously, if you follow us on the forums, you'll see stuff posted there in the announcements area. We also have the Discord server where we also chat about the latest and greatest. So I would use any one of those resources, and definitely follow the NVIDIA Omniverse LinkedIn page and on our social media account to always find the race. Okay, here's a very technical question. Ashley, is that a real giant skull or is that an AI image?
Edmar says it's my Nana.
I think you said that. No, because you said you were in our
No,
house.
no. So last year I made this like whole series because I wanted to like just learn more render settings in Omniverse. So I started creating all of these like compositions, and I was thinking about my Nana a lot, and my Nana's been gone for a long time. So I started naming all of these compositions like Nana's living room, Nana's kitchen, and then I did Nana's nightstand. And Edmar asked if that was my Nana. So I
Well,
don't know.
I mean, is that hopefully that wasn't disrespectful. I meant it in a nice way.
You
Like maybe
know,
you just loved her
I
so
think my
much.
Nana would love to spend eternity on my nightstand.
No joke. I've said this before, and I'm sorry if anyone takes offense to this as well. But I always say we have we have a lot of animals here in our house, including two very like a very fluffy cat. And I'm like, man, when he goes, like we should get him stuffed and just have him on the cat because I think that he would just look so cool, and he's very fluffy and soft. But every time I say that, people think I need to see.
Honestly, why they love spending time with us? Why would they not want to spend their entire afterlife in our homes as well? I think there's nothing wrong with it.
Because they want to be using Learn OpenUSD instead.
Make a digital version of your cat.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. But have you even said what you built all that stuff with, Ashley?
Yeah, I built it with I think I did this in USD Composer, Kit 105.
So are you telling me all of that is OpenUSD?
Heck yeah, it is. These are all Turbo Squid assets, all of them. I did not want to 3D model anything. My 3D modeling days are over. So I got all of these off Turbo Squid. I just dragged and dropped them. Boop, boop, boop. USDZs.
Yeah. Nice. So I think I would love to segue a little bit over into Nandu's study group because these people
resource.
are super amazing. I've had the luxury of kind of going and diving in every now and then. I wish I could do more, but they are doing some very amazing things. So Nandu, please take it away.
Sure. All right. Do you mind if I share my screen?
No, please do. And it'd be great to tell people a little about the history here, because this is not a new thing. This has been happening for quite some time, which is even more impressive. And I think originally one of the developers from our team, Maddie, here we go. I think I see your screen. Yep, here we go.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we got started almost a year and a half back, right? So I, Maddie, and a few of thinking, okay, so what can we do? How can we help people learn OpenUSD? And along the way, OpenUSD is, though for people who are not coming from computer graphics backgrounds, it's it's a steep learning curve. So there are a lot of things to learn in terms of like how we want to build these 3D worlds. And what I'm going to show here is like one is like going through these the curriculum that NVIDIA you guys have put out. So and then the other is like our Tuesdays study group that is shared on the Discord, on NVIDIA Omniverse Discord. So the study group, what we do is, so we will start taking these lesson plans and we will kind of like delve into more details. So you get like a first level of understanding of like how to build Python code and how to interact with some of the 3D stuff within the browser, what Jen just showed. So what we do is like to give you an example of like as part of the study group, the kind of activities that we go through is like typically come up with a specific topic that we want to discuss if somebody has, or they bring a problem that they're trying to solve. And I'll show you with this example in this in the first lesson that Jen showed on the prim vars. So prim vars are kind of like the basically primitive variables. Prim is the 3D object to create, and a prim var is like the variables that are on these primitives that you can manipulate using the Python code. So that's one of the examples that's shown here. So in our study group, we delve deeper. So what we do is, like, say for example, I have here's a primitive variable. It's just a single mesh that I have. I'm showing this in USD Composer. So I'll tell you why I'm doing this. So what you can see, like, this is a simple mesh just for vertices. And when I want to manipulate these, in this case, I can manipulate the different, colors at the vertex and at these vertices. And what I do here is, like, the same code that you would see, in the course. So I've taken this and I have added something extra here. So what I have done is, like, I have taken the same API, and then when I apply, for example, just make a change to the code, and then if I run the Python code, all right, so it seems to be taking some time.
Have you tried running this in the script editor within USD Composer as well?
Have you tried lighting incense to the live stream, Doug? That's what you have to do,
Yeah.
or else live stream code demonstrations
so there you
don't
go.
work.
Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately, all of this is running on my local laptop, right? So you what here is, like, I'm taking these same APIs that is part of this lesson plan. I'm creating a code around it, and I'm editing this particular primitive variable where I change the color from yellow to black, and using OpenUSD, right? So, and if I were to, like, go back and look at this particular, I can open the USD file and I can see how it's going to look like. And that's what that's what we do as part of the study group. So pick particular topics, dissect it, understand in more detail what kind of problems and challenges people are facing. Now, why we do this, right? So to give you an example, I initially, at the beginning, I mentioned that I work with OpenUSD for industrial inspection. So here is an example where, okay, so here is an example where I use OpenUSD to mimic the sensor data, and when I'm populating the sensor information, this is what I do, right? So I've taken the data from a simulated file, and have I'm converting that into mappings so that I can use the prim vars to map it onto this digital screen, right? So just to give you an example, right? So that's the kind of work that we do as part of our OpenUSD study group. I just when I clicked on the edit here, so you see that it opened the USD file. So you can go and inspect the file and then see, like, how it's displaying the various parameters what I set in my code, right? So this is exactly what I asked it to define, and that's what is being defined here for this particular primitive variable. So that so that is the kind of work what we do as part of the study group. So, and it's not just we are doing specifically to an industrial example. So Stephanie, who is here, so she shares all types of information on the entertainment side. So we kind of, like, understand, think about it, and then say, how do we solve that, right? So so any area where OpenUSD is being applied, so those are the kinds of work that we do as part of our study group. So so as we are trying to kind of, like, streamline our these sessions. We are also thinking about we do have few folks that are in India as well, and Europe. So of course, so I'm kind of like interacting with them at different times. So we are trying to figure out, is there a common time that we could bring this session towards, right? So that gives you an idea of, like, why the study group, what is the idea behind that, and then, like, how we can, it's a knowledge share, it's a knowledge share, where we bring in the problem, try to address the problem, and what we know among as a group, try to help, we try to help and try to solve the problem.
That's amazing. It's
So
such a
that's
great
our
resource.
kind of like the activity.
That's an amazing resource. And I think goes hand in hand with the learning journey we talked about today, learning OpenUSD. And I think that the one of the ideas is to actually go through, have the people in the study group go through the module or multiple modules, and you talk about your experience, your challenges, troubleshoot any kind of bottlenecks you may have had doing any of the modules, and kind of work it out together, which is such a great formula for learning something. I put on screen a minute ago, but the OpenUSD study group is on our calendar now, on our official calendar. I put a link a little earlier, but I'll put a link to the general calendar in a second so you can see it again. But basically, the OpenUSD study group led by Nandu is meeting every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific for about an hour or so. And they meet on our
Yep.
Discord server in the community room. So it's very casual. You don't have to get dressed up or anything. You could just come into Discord server in the community room and go ahead,
No,
Jen.
you have to wear formal attire, full suit, and everything.
Well,
But then don't turn your camera on.
Yeah. Don't turn your camera on.
So you're just
Yeah.
doing that in your own office by yourself.
Yeah, and I'll just reiterate. There's times where I come in and out of there. I know Maddie comes in and out as well. So there you might get lucky and you might see an NVIDIA every now and then, but don't bank on it. I promise you. We sometimes we get a little too busy. But what they talk about and what they do and how they help each other, it is probably the funnest study group you can ever go to. Like, if you're thinking study groups in like elementary school, nah. This is totally different. This is like really fun stuff, really cool stuff. And they follow up on things too. So if you're thinking, oh, this is just a one shot kind of thing, no, they'll ask you like next week, hey, did you solve your problem? Like, we were investigating and we did some of this other stuff, and sometimes somebody else picks it up. So it's really just a great way to kind of collaborate and find new people and learn what they're doing in their workflows.
yeah, very cool. I couldn't agree more. So, if you're a member of the Discord server, you'll also see the OpenUSD study group along with live streams and other events listed right on the Discord server in the top left. If you go to upcoming events, so you can also just click on to be notified there. In addition to our ad event calendar, two places you can see it very easily. And if you have any questions, we have an OpenUSD channel on the Discord server as well, so you can chat anytime. You don't have to wait for the study group to happen on Tuesdays. Someone had asked earlier, Nandu, and I believe the answer is yes, because we talked about this the other day, but someone's asking about support for other time zones, because that time zone, the Tuesday time, might not work for everybody. But you told me you're actually exploring potentially another time slot, right?
Yes, I think hopefully there should be a survey that should be coming up. So we are looking at potentially other time zones, in the sense, preferably morning time on Tuesdays, on Thursdays or Fridays. So
That'd be good for
so
Europe. Yeah.
yeah, 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 good for Europe as well as folks in Asia, so that if they want any, if they want to join that, yeah.
Yeah, feel free if you have any thoughts on that. Go to our Discord, discord.gg/NVIDIA Omniverse. Go to the OpenUSD channel and put what your favorite time zone would be or is, and then we can try to work with all the guests here and coming up with a nice time slot. But I think that'd be amazing. And eventually, you may actually want other people in the community help hosting some of these in other different regions, right? Different time slots that because Nandu cannot be awake 24/7 as much as he'd probably like to. We might need another Nandus helping to support this event. So let us know if you're interested in that too. I think it'll be amazing. We have a bunch of great questions here that our producer Amelia has been highlighting throughout the chat. Let's see if we can go through some of these. Let me see. I'll put this on the screen. We're getting a lot of great questions from LinkedIn. So glad, Mara. Thank you for broadcasting to here. Are any cellular AIDD NIMs focused on dual target drug discovery synergy for clinical data trials? And I think, Ashley, you mentioned that we do have something for this, right?
There are a few different NIM microservices that are like examples and using generative AI for drug discovery. So I would encourage you to go to the build.nvidia.com website. We'll post it in the chat. And if you scroll down a little bit, like I think it says specifically agents for drug discovery. So yeah, it says generative AI for drug discovery. That's like a whole section on that website. So I would check those out and see if any of them are for what you're looking for. Explore it, download it, give it a try, and build on it.
Amazing. That's great. Thanks. A great question. Let me see. I think we already answered this one earlier. We already did this one. Wow, this is good. We're keeping on top of things. Here's one from, oh my God, Kenny's Living. Maybe a reference to South Park there. Would that data exchange also be applicable to not just geometry, but product data, such as dimensions, mass? And look at Ashley's head. There's your answer.
Absolutely, 100%. And if you want, I should have probably mentioned this a lot earlier, we do have video recordings of all the SIGGRAPH sessions. So they'll end up being posted in chat. So this is just the 200 levels that we did. One of them happens to be within data exchange. So please, I highly encourage you to take a look at that to kind of give a little bit of preview of what the content will end up looking like when the 200s actually finally come out. But other than that, yeah, it's everything. It covers, geometry, materials, and different kinds of things. You could do whatever you want in terms of translating your information to OpenUSD. It's just how you want to do that is the bigger question. Those answers I can't give out because everybody's different.
Okay, good. That's awesome. Another question, also from LinkedIn. Hello, can you share your thoughts on when to use USD API and when to use SDF API? Both of them can achieve the same result but in a different way, and I'm wondering, are there any indicators that point to using one or the other?
You're just going to have to find out and learn OpenUSD.
No. Nandu, you answered it really well, but since we can't post to LinkedIn, would you be able to verbalize what you said in the chat?
Sure. Yeah, I just posted the answer, but I don't know whether they can. Yeah, as you mentioned, they can't see it. So, I mean, essentially, USD API is a high-level API. So, and anytime you want to interact, at different layers, you want to manipulate, different objects specifically for composition side of things. I think you want to use the SDF API. So, that's kind of like the general rule, but then the thought is, or the suggestion is also that as you start working more and more with the APIs to interact with USD, you are better off using SDF because it gives you a lot more control. Think of it like that way, right? So USD kind of like abstracts a lot of the handlers in terms of how you want to interact at different levels, whereas SDF gives you a much finer control. So you may be better off using SDF. So
now you can go do the Learn OpenUSD coursework so you can have practice with it, and then that will come a little bit easier to you when understanding the difference. I know it helped me because I had a very similar question with USD and SDF and importing those different libraries.
Very cool. Great question and great answer. Thanks again for these questions and comments coming in from LinkedIn. Don't want to leave out YouTube viewers. They're asking a lot of great stuff too and adding a lot of comments throughout. So thank you for all the great engagement here in the chat. Really nice to see everybody. We've got hundreds of people watching, so that's fantastic that people are finding this valuable. And it's a great moment to advertise how helpful it is for you to like and subscribe to these videos if you find this content helpful, and you want other people to also learn. Please definitely share it. These videos are living on our YouTube channel. If you go to the live section on NVIDIA Omniverse, you'll see all of our previous live streams, including a great series by the developer to my side here, Ashley. I don't know what side that is, but Ashley, her Learn With Me series. We've recently just updated the description for the Learn With Me series, where she goes through different concepts, and learns live with helping the viewers and researching documentation and examples live to figure out how to do different things. And we just updated the resources doc that Ashley has been building over the many months he's been doing the live stream. So that is now in the description of all the previous live streams. So feel free to take full advantage of those. And let us know what you'd like to see next. We're actually really excited about the next series that's coming up on the live stream. We're going to dive into robotics. So a lot of great. We know that there's so many developers out there leveraging Isaac Sim for their robotic simulation work, as well as Isaac Ross for the actual physical robot work. And we're excited to dive into some of those topics in the coming weeks. So if you're an Isaac Sim user, you're going to want to definitely subscribe to our Ed Event calendar so you can watch one of the or all of those live streams in the series. All right, here's a great question coming in from YouTube. Is it recommended to use OpenUSD and use Python when building a large 3D environment? Exported from Unreal Engine or Blender and adding physics to all objects, or only when manipulating some 3D objects? Let me see. So this is, I'm trying to see who on our panel has most experience with Unreal. I don't know, Ashley or Jen, have you messed around with?
And it doesn't matter like where it's exported from. I think they're just talking about like the 3D content in general. So if you have a really large 3D scene, I would definitely recommend using OpenUSD and Python to build that and to add the physics and all of the attributes that go to it, because it's a non-destructive workflow. So you're not going to lose the data that you're storing in these objects. And it's also interoperable between all the different platforms. So if you bring that back into UE, back into Blender, or even open it up in Maya or some other DCC software like that, you're still going to have all that same content that you stored in USD. That's the best thing about this. You know, I hate calling it a file format because it's bigger than a file format, but you know, for the sake of, we don't have that vocabulary yet, the file format stores all of that information that you're building in that content. So you don't have to, if you say you're adding the material on an FBX, and you take that FBX into a software like Blender, and then you start building a scene with it. If you have all of these objects, these FBX files with the materials and the data that you've created in that scene, and you're exporting it, each individual one is like a single FBX file. So you're importing it all as like different objects. Whereas if you save it as a USD scene, it saves its materials, it saves all of its attributes, and it stays together as one whole scene. You don't have to just stick to that file that is for that specific software.
Thank you. Great question and answer from Ashley. Thank you. Question in chat: how do you connect with us on LinkedIn? All of us have LinkedIn pages. You can just look us up by name, and we're there. You can feel free to also, if you need to reach us directly, just hit a note on Discord, and you can tag me, Edmar, and I'll be happy to help. Okay, here's another question. Oh, no, Austin with another great question. Anyone know why there's USD, but also why there's USD, but also USDA? I understand USDZ, but not USD and USD seem like the same.
This is we get this question so often. I feel like I'm going to fumble the way I say it.
There is a whole section in Learn OpenUSD that talks about this. So
Nice.
I highly, again, all of your guys' questions that you keep asking, I guarantee to you they will be solved and answered if you go ahead and enroll in Learn OpenUSD. I promise you.
Yeah, just think of it like USDZ is like USD zipped. It's zipped together. It's a compressed version. And then USDA is alembic. How do you say that word?
That's right. Yeah.
It's human readable, right? That's the version that's human readable. And then yes. USDC is the one that you'll open up and it's like in a bunch of like weird symbols, not human readable. And then USD is just like, that's just your basic one. See, I don't know like the super descriptive one. So go to do the Learn OpenUSD courses and get like the actual definition.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, there, he's gonna enroll. There you go. You have a new student there. Well, Well, this hour has just flown by. I want to thank everybody for joining us on all the different platforms we're streaming to now. And let me see.
We could keep streaming. I totally don't need to go back to work and
You don't need to go back to work?
more meetings.
I do. I'm sorry. I gotta go. So
No.
Jen, I'm so glad you were here. I'm going to post something really quick. We mentioned this earlier, but if you want to find out more about OpenUSD, there's also the Alliance for OpenUSD page. You can find out about what the Alliance is working on. And we mentioned some of the members before, but Autodesk, Adobe, Microsoft, Pixar, of course, Apple. Apple is a big one, and one of the latest ones along with Microsoft. So really exciting stuff. So I highly recommend you check out the AOUSD page. Maybe your company's interested in also being a member. And then we also mentioned a little earlier Ace Roller's fantastic video. So I highly recommend you checking out his video. Here is a little screen of it. And there's the members I was talking about. Most valuable file format you never heard of, even though it's not really file format, but he actually gets into that and talks about why it's not a file format in the video. It's a fantastic video, 15 minutes, and I think it's a great primer for anyone who's not familiar with OpenUSD yet, or even if you are. He's just a brilliant developer, and the way he explains things also is super entertaining. I will say, I don't know how much time he spends on editing these videos, but it must be a really long time. But he
only puts one out a month, so
yeah,
a month maybe, and he shows his cat in every single video.
He does. It's a great strategy because he does it when there's a advertisement on the screen. Obviously, his cat, so you don't want to fast forward it. So really big thanks to of course Ashley and Jen and Nandu. I can't thank you enough for all the work you do with the community on our Discord server. Really helpful the way you've been spearheading the OpenUSD study group, and we're super excited to see how your community that you work with there leverages the Learn OpenUSD curriculum. Here's Stephanie. Here's one of the members of the study group.
Thanks, Stephanie. Yeah.
Yes, there's an OpenUSD channel, and let me see. I even think, do I have this? Sorry. Here's our Discord address. I always laugh when I put this up on the screen because it is crazy looking. There it is. If you
still here.
If you need to know the address, it's super easy to remember. Discord.gg/NVIDIA Omniverse. Kudos to Wendy Graham, who I think made that way back when. And a big thank you to all the people behind the scenes who helped us with the live stream, including Mara and Greer, I mentioned earlier, Stephanie, Amelia, amazing producer. She's been the one helping with all these links, but not just links. She's actually helpful all through the production process of those live streams. A lot of work that happens behind the scenes for these. So super excited to have so many people watching us today. And I hope you join us for the next ones, which will be focused on Isaac Sim and robotics. Keep an eye out for our event screen. Any last remaining words of wisdom before we bid farewell to our audience here?
Enroll now.
There you go.
Yeah, start learning OpenUSD because it's going to change pretty much. It's going to cut across pretty much every industry that we know. So.
And yeah. I will be at FIU on Friday for a job fair, and then again this Saturday morning for a tech talk on Omniverse and OpenUSD. So if you're in the Miami area and you want to see a tech talk, go to FIU on Saturday.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, I totally forgot about it. Not that I forgot about it, but I forgot to mention it.
Well, that's great. Well, hopefully those in Miami maybe get a good chance to see you there. It'd be amazing. All right, great. So we'll see you on Discord. We'll see you on the forums. Thank you so much, Jen, for presenting this information for us today, and for Ashley and Nandu for your great input and wisdom. We'll see everybody next time. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great pleasure to be with you today. Until next time.
Thank you.